the question on everyone's mind. Do I have enough food? And more specifically, if you eat meat, where can I purchase some? And what's to come in the next couple of months? We're all eating a lot more meals at home. Therefore, purchasing groceries is at the forefront of people's minds, trying to keep their families fed. And while the popular headline this week has been farmers having to do away with a surplus of food, there may be an adverse issue in the near future. I got in touch with a local farmer and he shared his concerns that if we can't keep the employees working, in a few months we may have an issue meeting the public's demand for meat, turning a possible surplus into a shortage. Georgia's Agriculture Commissioner, Gary Black, said that
this is not a shortage issue. There's plenty of food in the system, but there may be a timing issue and immediate spot demands. There's no way to anticipate those.
I drew some context around the topic both nationally and locally. Here's what I found. The Meat and Demand Monitor, as you can see here, on March 24th, that is when the rise really began to happen. The point in which a majority of the general public were told to self-isolate and were under shelter-in-place laws in order to help to stop the virus. Now, the Meat and Demand Monitor from Kansas State University is collecting data from 2,000 respondents each month and tracking how COVID-19 is creating trends and how people are consuming beef and pork at every meal 3 times a day. And as we've gotten further along into quarantine, you can see that these numbers have risen exponentially, and this has caused a surge in sales. According to data from Information Resources Incorporated and 210 Analytics, meat has been the leading sales driver, up by 91% for the week ending in March 22nd. With volume sales up by 78%. Now, this surge in sales is correlated with a strong buying power and need from local retailers to restock those shelves that you might be seeing empty at your local retailers. So fresh beef sales, let's talk about it. Those sales have virtually doubled over a comparable week in 2019, generating close to $900 million, ending in the week of March 22nd, as you can see in this column. So this is a lot of data. Let's contextualize it. Now, with the rising demand, as we have shown you prior, it is taking time to restock those shelves. And that process, it doesn't just happen overnight. It is vital, Georgia Commissioner Gary Black believes, to protect and uphold these operations of these markets while also dealing with the coronavirus.
Georgia agriculture, from farm to all those who add valued products that you and I are able to get it at a restaurant or a grocery store. That system is as important a component of national security as anything else in our country.
And U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue joined President Trump to address the public and their concern of distribution and the supply chain demands.
In the United States, we have plenty of food for all of our citizens. I want to be clear. The bare store shelves that you may see in some cities in the country are a demand issue, not a supply issue. The way food is prepared and packaged to be sold in a restaurant or a school is significantly different than the way it's packaged for you to buy in the grocery store. Our supply chain is sophisticated, efficient, integrated, and synchronized, and it's taken us a few days to relocate the misalignment between institutional settings and grocery settings.
And now this is where local suppliers and farmers really take the spotlight and demonstrate their value and need in a community.
Wow, supporting the local producers is that much more important.
It really is. And at the University of Georgia, they have a meat lab that serves as a research and extension tool where students learn the production of meat science through animal carcass evaluation. And then they sell that meat that they harvest to the local Athens community, as you can see here.
Somebody says, I need 22-pound packages of ground beef. You know, you look at it and you think, yep, they're worried.
The center said they sold 250 pounds of ground beef in just 2 days on a week, on average to 90 customers. And they've seen that demand firsthand. Although the meat supply right now remains steadily available in Georgia, that might not be the case in the coming weeks or months due to the shelter-in-place laws affecting national inventory, Crow believes. This is what he said. While I believe the supply is there and there is a ruling about essential food and agriculture work, meat processing being one of those, there could be some trouble with getting labor at the big packing facilities. And when Secretary Perdue was asked in a press briefing on Friday night regarding maintaining that workforce and supply for meat, he said that
Frankly, it is not the role of USDA to get the tests. We try to facilitate the connections that we're able and to let people know of the urgent need there. Our processing facility, certainly in pork, is critical. It's a just-in-time, very sophisticated, synchronized system, and we cannot afford for these plants to be offline very long.
Secretary Perdue also went on to add that we eat roughly 50% of our meals outside of the home when not under a shelter-in-place order. And now that we're eating many more meals at home, that supply and demand issue is that much more important. Skylar Nicholson, Grady Newsource.